if you make your free throws, it turns out to be a pretty good, at least visually, a much better game. But we're happy with the win, and we played very well the first half and only was up 8, but we played very well, and second half we kind of just pieced it together. But good to get out of here with the W, that's for sure.
A little false sense of security. You get off to a 14-2 lead, and then things kind of
that weren't
so good.
We're not going to be as good as we don't have Ben out there, and we're not going to be as good if we don't make our free throws and things like that. It's so that's not a surprise that they outscored us 4 points from the point in time we were up 14-2 to the end of the half. I mean, to me that's not a surprise at all. We've got to play better, but the first half we played good. I mean, if we make our free throws the first half, we could have probably scored 44 or 45 in here the first half and shot a great percentage and done some good things. But second half we didn't play very well. But I think they play hard and they're tough, and they had Murray step out and make some threes, and he's made I think like 6 on the year, but he hadn't made 3 in a game, I don't think. And they did some good things, but certainly if we just make our free throws, we would have been in much better shape.
Bill, talk about your defense a little bit, specifically down the stretch when West Virginia closed. They didn't score many points in the last 8-9 minutes of the game.
Well, we didn't either. So our defense needed to be good because we didn't score either. We made some bad plays, but Jeff wasn't really a shot blocker tonight till last possession. He came away with 2 big ones, and I thought defensively we did a pretty good job. The one thing we didn't do, our guards didn't contain the ball very well. 3 and 4 went by us way too easily and too often. But we're pretty sound defensively. I mean, I don't know if we're great defensively, but we're pretty sound. And the big key with West Virginia, I think, if they shoot a marginal percentage, is you got to keep them off the glass because they're a great offensive rebounding team, and we actually did a pretty good job defensive rebounding the ball.
Oh, Jeff's play for you early. Finishes with 15, but had a majority of that early on in the game.
Who was this?
Jeff.
Oh, yeah, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff was good the first half, but second half, he's a good free throw shooter. He shot 80% last year, right at it, and he's probably shooting in the 50s this year or low 60s. So we can improve that, and he'll improve that. But I thought Jeff played pretty well. But the first half, the ball moved. Even our extra passes were good. When we didn't come away with points, they were great possessions, and we just didn't have very many good possessions second half.
Talk about Ben a little bit. He ends up with 13 points and playing kind of sporadically still, not really.
Well, he wasn't in the game the first half. He picks up 2 bad fouls. I mean, 2 obvious fouls the first half that didn't have anything to do with the play. And, so he sets the first half. And when he came back in, he turned it over because he had been setting and was a little passive. And so we set him the rest of the half. And the second half, he did okay, but he was never plugged in. And that's what we have to do a better job of for him. But a lot of that was Ben tonight. Ben didn't have his best game.
What did you think of the atmosphere in your first trip to West Virginia?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was good. The students were great. I don't know if they get crowds like this every game, but it's a good home court without question. It's neat how they get all the students down there low on one side. I guess kind of like Cameron, at least from looking at it on TV. So I thought the atmosphere was very good.
It's kind of a trend that you guys are winning ugly on the road and really everywhere. Is there a sense of frustration in the way you guys are playing, or are you just happy that you guys are finding ways to win in the final minutes?
Well, I think the whole thing is if the score was 74 to 69, everybody would be thinking we played really well, which doesn't mean we played well. It means we didn't guard, but we may have played better offense, and so it is frustrating. I talked to the guys about it. We got to be better. I mean, there's no question. We're going to have to learn some lessons through losing, or we're going to have to mature, and hopefully we can learn them through maybe escaping. And so far we hadn't learned them yet. But hey, you look across America, there's a lot of teams out there that would give anything to be, 5-0 on the road. There's hardly anybody in America has done that, and with the schedule we played, and we shouldn't make any excuses for for winning games away from home. If you tell us before the season, if you tell us last night, if you tell us this afternoon, hey, you're going to win by 5 in Morgantown, we'd say, well, we'll take that and go to the house. So, sure, I want to do better, and they want to do better, and we will do better, but it's something that is frustrating because I know we have to play better to play for high stakes, but still yet, I look across America, there's a lot of teams that are learning lessons through tough losses, and we've been fortunate we haven't done that. We played well enough not to lose.
If you scored on the final possession of the first half, you'd have been up 12, which was kind of the way the game felt, but they stole it. What exactly happened there with Elijah?
Well, he just made a bad play. The whole play was for him to drive it. The lane was open, and then Andrew didn't relocate right, and we just threw it to him for a layup. But, that happened 2 or 3 times in the first half. So we gotta do better with that. But you can't close halves out like that. The worst we can do is be up 10, and the worst when you're playing for one shot, and to do that is ridiculous. But we got to get better in that area. But hey, first half, ball moved, extra passes. That was the best we played offensively in a while. The first half.
Coach, West Virginia went to the line 13 times in the first half. Didn't get to the foul line until a minute left in the game. Did you make adjustments at halftime, or how do you explain that?
Well, I don't think that we pressured them as much. We didn't really, we were in foul trouble a little bit, so we probably played a little bit more contained second half. And, of course, the way Bob plays, he pressures the heck out of you all the time. So, you can get to the free throw line, but it's going to be a game in which you got to take advantage of getting there, and we didn't do that tonight. So they played us smart, but I thought actually defensively we were pretty sound the second half, especially when I think they had like 5 team fouls. We had like 5 team fouls, 8 or 9 minutes left, and then we did a good job of not fouling there for a stretch, which was a big play when they got their 6th foul. I mean, when they picked up their 6th foul, they're shooting free throws to cut it to 2, but it was only the 6th one, so we actually were pretty fortunate in that regard. Yeah.
When you're on the road in a loud environment like that, do you have to say anything to the seniors to kind of get them to settle everybody down, or do they just know what to do?
Probably a little bit of both. I think they know what to do pretty good, but they can get rattled. Everybody can get rattled at some point in time, but they do a pretty good job of doing some things. The thing that I don't like about we can get when we're playing with the lead late, we can get too passive, or we can have some guys try to make great plays as opposed to good plays, and that happened tonight a couple of times.